Fantastic. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Unfortunately, we're starting What's Trending on a sad note. Let's begin What's Trending in Benue State, where over 100 people, including women and children, were killed in an overnight attack by gunmen in Yelwata and Daudu communities in Guma Local Government Area. The attack, which occurred from late Friday into Saturday morning, led to international condemnation and a call for the Nigerian government to take more action and to end the bloodshed. Pope Leo XIV on Sunday expressed profound sorrow and offered prayers for the victims of what he described as a terrible massacre. Many of the victims were internally displaced persons sheltered by the local Catholic mission. The Pope called for security, justice, and peace in Nigeria.
Si è verificato un terribile massacro in cui circa 200 persone sono state uccise con estrema crudeltà, la maggior parte delle quali erano sfollati interni, ospitati dalla missione cattolica locale. Prego affinché la sicurezza, la giustizia e la pace prevalgano in Nigeria, paese amato e così colpito da varie forme di violenza. E prego in modo particolare per le comunità cristiane rurali dello Stato di Benue, che incessantemente sono stati vittime della violenza.
Well, the police on Sunday used tear gas to disperse young people who trooped out in protest over the killings. The protesters carried leaves, banners, and placards demanding federal government intervention. Let's take a look. Police fired tear gas at these defenseless Nigerians protesting their rights. I mean, they had leaves, they had banners, they had no guns, no weapons. But I believe the Commissioner of Police said that the Inspector General of Police has taken over security operations in the state and has deployed special forces to address the situation, assuring residents that the authorities are in control and making arrests. Military aerial surveillance has also been deployed across Makurdi and its environs. Vimba, you did see this story. I don't know if you saw the video by activist Very Dark Man who went in there. I mean, kudos to him. He went in there and filmed. It's horrific. We can't show it here. But children, our children, burned to the ground. I mean, women, defenseless women, burned. And one of the people that was in that video by VDM, the witness, said that, you know, the police was there and was, you know, trying to ward off and attack the people, the bandits that had come earlier. On one side of the location, the police were fighting the attackers. And then on the other side, the attackers came in and lit up the place, burning children. I'll take Atiku Abubakar's tweet. He wrote, "These killings, once again, targeting defenseless communities, underscores the escalating insecurity crisis facing our nation. Words cannot adequately express the sorrow felt by those left widowed, orphaned, or displaced. This assault on innocent Nigerians is not just a local tragedy. It's a national emergency that demands immediate attention and decisive action. I call on all Nigerians, regardless of tribe or religion, to unite in condemning this atrocity. We must hold our leaders accountable and insist on sustainable solutions to the violent tragedies claiming lives across the country. May God comfort the grieving families, heal our nation, and help us reclaim peace and security for all." I'll start with you, Rufai Oseni, over there in Abuja. Your thoughts on all the comments that I have raised so far?
Audrey, it's a dark time for our country. But you know, what is even scary for all of us, and for me particularly, is the fact that President Tinubu has not even deemed it fit to be able to go there. If that place is just about 10 kilometers to Nasarawa, then it shouldn't take more than a 2-3 hour journey from Abuja. Why hasn't President Tinubu gone straight to where this has happened? Between 2023 and 2025, if you are to do a cumulative sum total of the deaths in Benue, it's well over 3,000 based on different sources from Amnesty to the likes. In fact, some reports are saying that up till about April this year, the death toll was already over 500. If Yelwata had over 200 people, then what are we seeing? We're seeing mass carnage happening in our country, and our leaders are not saying anything about it. They're just saying, oh, the governor should intervene. He should talk to them. So it's so easy for the governor to intervene, and he has not intervened all this while. When the top military chief came there, what did he do? What solution did he bring to the problem? Till today, who is going to account for the children that are charred? I was talking about DNA. A lot of people feel, oh, in Nigeria, does that work? But shouldn't we account for the children that were charred to death in those videos? Over 1,000 households displaced. That's over 6,000 people. Thousands of men, thousands of women and children. We have a crisis on our hands, and everybody moves ahead like nothing is happening. Till today, the president has not visited. The question, like I asked before, is how many people must die in an incident for the president to visit? In Niger, were hundreds of people too. About 1,000 people couldn't be accounted for in Niger floods. The president didn't visit. So what must it take? Should it be 1,000? Should it be 10,000? Is it that people are not dying enough in all of this crisis? And if the commander-in-chief is saying the governor should go in there, why do we subject our sovereignty to him to provide security as enshrined in the Constitution? Section 14(2)(b). Because the reason why we have a commander-in-chief and we subject our sovereignty to him is, as the head of state, should be able to coalesce all the forces of state to provide security at a time where there's insecurity. So this has continued. If we were to flip the script, many years to this time, maybe 2014, I'm sure President Tinubu never gave Goodluck Jonathan breathing space. He kept on reminding him that you're commander-in-chief. Get something done about it. And then when you look at it now, protesters that are protesting, you think those people were so happy just to go out there to protest the killings of their own people? The police could tear gas them, and you have helicopters hovering around. But how about fighting the people that are committing this mayhem? President Tinubu, I would rather that we look at solving the problems in Benue and other parts of the country, rather than this political talk of endorsement here and there as regards the 2027 presidency. And that's why this morning, out of protest, I said, I will never talk about politics where people are dying, and I will never dignify politicians by talking about who is endorsing who. Right. Don't we have a heart in this country? Is it because it doesn't come close to us? Really? Is that the country we have built so insensitive to the plight of people? Just imagine if you were called that your dearest and your closest died in Benue.
All right, Rufai. Meanwhile, the Christian Association of Nigeria in the 19 northern states and the Federal Capital Territory has called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to declare total war on criminal elements terrorizing communities in Benue State. Northern Can, in a statement, condemned the persistent attacks and expressed concern that the security situation seems to be worsening despite earlier efforts. They urged President Tinubu to take decisive action, direct security agencies to neutralize the threat within a clear time frame, and even seek international assistance if necessary. The association also called for decisive action against the resurgence of Boko Haram terrorists in Borno State, emphasizing that the nation's sovereignty and the safety of its citizens depend on a robust response from all security apparatus. They further urged the people of Benue to unite and cooperate with security agencies to end the bloodshed. Well, in response to the reprisal attacks, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Sunday ordered security chiefs to enforce his previous directive for lasting peace in the state. Well, in a statement released by Bayo Ononuga, the president tasked Benue State Governor Hyacinth Aliya to lead reconciliation meetings between warring parties, that's the farmers, the herders, and communities to end the bloodshed. The president condemned the violence as inhuman and anti-progress, urging political and community leaders to cease inflammatory statements and control those inciting violence. He also emphasized the need for decisive action against perpetrators and called on Governor Aliya to act as a statesman in facilitating dialogue for peaceful coexistence. We have seen these statements, going around Vimbai from the president. But of course, Nigerians have condemned the statements. I'm sure that you have seen it, because obviously we've seen protests, we've seen activists fly into Benue State to protest, to speak, and to do these reconciliatory measures, or take these reconciliatory measures within these communities. And the president keeps on issuing statements when 200 people die. Vimbai.
In the morning when we analyzed this, I'd said that there's a concern around the distance that the presidency is creating with the state where this issue is concerned, because this is not really a moment for us to start separating ourselves or creating distance. We had some guests here who spoke about their concern. They said, the president is speaking about reconciliation and dialogue and so forth. From their own perspective, they're from Benue, they're saying, who are we reconciling with? There are people, armed people coming with guns. How do we hold dialogue with them? They've declared war on us. How do we dialogue with these people? We don't know who they are. They are criminals. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is clearly, if the president is issuing this type of statement, it means that there's a communal clash involved here where there are known parties to it. So I think, number one, we need to separate and differentiate between the communal clashes that are happening and then the criminality that's also happening alongside it. Those are the major issues. But all in all, I think now is a time for decisive action, decisive leadership. They're saying the chief of army staff was there, but again, the gentleman we had here, they are alleging that the chief of army staff didn't stay for very long, and they're not seeing the result of his being there. You remember when he went there, he said he was going to give the bandits the fight of their lives. So maybe that strategy is still in play. Who knows? But at the end of it, the fact remains that over 200 people and counting have lost their lives. Women and children are homeless. Some children are now orphans. There's a humanitarian crisis. And we now ask ourselves, where do we go from here? Decisive leadership, at the very least, what we can show in this instance is just a degree of empathy. Let's see the leadership, more than a phone call to the governor. I think it's now time for us to see more presence. The NSA visited there at the beginning of June as well. I think we just want to see more of a heavy presence, just to boost, even if it's for morale, for optics, it's important.
Heavy presence. I did call for that over the weekend as well. But we are hearing reports that it's the police that is fighting. We're not seeing more of the military action here. Dr. Abati.
Okay, 270 persons died in 10 local government areas of Benue State, prompting the Chief of Army Staff to relocate to Benue first week of June, and then he left. What we have seen is that, that has not made any difference. 25 persons were killed in Makurdi Local Government Area. About 48 hours later, over the weekend, about 100 persons were killed in Guma Local Government Area. We commiserate with the affected families and with the people of those affected areas who have lost their loved ones, who have lost properties, who have been displaced and traumatized in the emergence of a state of anarchy, as it were, chaos, killing fields in Benue State. Now, I think that the Pope has done well by calling for security, peace, and justice. And that is a reminder that what is happening either in Benue State or in Borno State has an international dimension, because we're part of a global human community. And anything that happens in Nigeria, will reverberate throughout the world. Northern Can says these criminal elements should be brought to book. We agree with them. We think that the killings in Benue should stop. Now, President Tinubu has asked Governor Hyacinthe earlier to call all the warring parties together to talk to them. The guest that was with us in the studio earlier on, Mr. Madaki, said, how would the governor even know who these people are? That the responsibility is for the federal government to deploy every possible resource to check the reign of criminality, the impunity that is abroad in Benue State. Finally, government, whether state or federal, has a responsibility to ensure the safety of Nigerians. I said earlier on, Section 14, 2A, sub 2A, talks about the sovereignty belonging to the Nigerian people. It reiterates it, which means that this country called Nigeria, the people are the most important element. Their sovereignty belongs to them. Right. In 14.2b, the Constitution says the safety and welfare of Nigerians, of all these people, including you and I, shall be the responsibility of government. Shall in law is obligatory. It's not an opinion. Section 33 talks about right to life, which means that, look, you cannot use your life except through judicial means. Your criminals cannot be killing everybody and turning Nigeria into killing fields. Section 34 talks about the right to human dignity, to the dignity of the human person. That's what the Constitution says. Now, all of these rights are being violated. And that's why I think that the president should see this as a matter of urgent national importance and ensure that people are safe in Benue, Absolutely. They are safe in the Northeast, they are safe even here in Lagos, everywhere.
Well said.
And where is that your village? Even in Cross River State. Odukpani.
Well said.
Yes, everywhere.
Really sad
and
incident.
Even Mkwata. Everybody has a right to be safe.
Everybody has a right to be safe. Well said. Thank you, Dr. Abati. Really sad incident coming from Benue State. May the souls of our brothers and sisters that have departed